Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to Vlogmess. Today I will be ranking all the advent calendars that I picked up and reviewed this holiday season. I think there were a total of about a dozen, give or take a couple. And you know, some of them were winners and some of them were clear losers. So I will be ranking them from what I think were the absolute worst to my favorite and what I think were the best value for your money. I'll include the playlist for all my advent calendars down below, so check those all out. There's a lot more information about what they all contain, the prices. This is just kind of a roundup, so I'll try to go quick because there is a lot to cover. Now, starting at the bottom, the absolute worst advent calendar that I opened up this year, I don't even have because I immediately returned it. It is the Balmain Hair City of Lights, whatever advent calendar. It retailed for around $300 or something. I was able to get it on sale because it was actually last year's version, last holiday's version. And for some reason, Net-a-Porter posted it for sale in the summer. I think this was July. So this was the very first one that I unboxed this year because technically it was from last year. And it was awful. The condition was disgusting. It arrived completely falling apart. The boxes were ripped open. And then upon my horror, when opening it, some of the products were completely used, leaking, and covered in dirt and lint, and was just so disgusting. I couldn't get over it. People were just so grossed out when they were watching it. First of all, it was clearly a purchase and a return because the boxes were completely ripped open. And then when I tried some of the products, they were literally, it didn't smell like anything. It smelled like someone replaced the hair product with just clear water because it had no scent. It was bizarre, it was gross, and I returned it. And a really disappointing part of that experience was my customer service experience with Net-a-Porter. Up until then, I had purchased from Net-a-Porter several times and it was always a great, you know, pleasant, whatever experience. But in this case, I returned this because of the condition and they wanted me to send pictures showing the damage, which I obliged. I sent multiple pictures, multiple angles showing how I received it, how, you know, it was destroyed. The boxes were ripped and then the products were opened and used. And I showed the lint, I showed the dirt. And one of the emails, they responded and said, okay, please send it back. Once we receive your return and assess the condition, we'll refund you. However, from our perspective, the products do not appear to be used or damaged. And I was like, you're wrong, but whatever. So it took forever. It was a whole ordeal having to return it, but they finally did refund me after I returned everything, which, you know, please get this out of my house. So yeah, that was definitely the worst this year. It just left such a bad taste in my mouth that I will probably never order that advent calendar again. Next on the list of worst advent calendar, this guy right here. This is the Chanel Advent Calendar, or they call it the Chanel Calendar. It is not an Advent Calendar. This was the Chanel Calendar to mark the 100th anniversary of Chanel No. 5. I don't even want to go into it. I have an entire video about this. Check it out. This has gone viral from another TikTok user who unboxed this and showed just how disappointing and just utterly useless the contents of this calendar. This was full of useless stickers, and for $825, it is just, it's just tragic. If I didn't have the Balmain debacle with the used products and broken and dirty hair stuff, this is definitely the worst. I don't even know what to say. If this were a gift for Chanel VIP clients, then it would have been great. But for $825, you would expect something noteworthy in here. I just don't understand how they came up with that amount. It is nonsensical to me. So yeah, Chanel calendar, second worst on the list this year. Next up is the Lush Advent Calendar. Now this was okay. I wouldn't say it was bad. I just think that for the price tag, I just wasn't a huge fan of all the contents inside. I love their bath bombs. I love a lot of their lotions. You know, I like that it had a lot of the shower gels and bath products and stuff that I haven't tried, but the specific holiday scents, a lot of them, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan personally of, you know, spicy, like cinnamony type scents in the bath when I'm taking a bath or when I'm in the shower. I want a very clean, soapy scent. You know, just stick with what you know. Peppermint is okay too, but a lot of these were spicy, and for me it was okay. Another thing I didn't like was the ginger lip scrub. I'm just not a huge fan of ginger as a fragrance note. And then the perfume that was the finale day was okay. Pros are the box is really cool and the bath bombs are all really cool, and I like the bubble bar. I haven't tried that yet, but I know that I will definitely get a lot of use out of all the stuff in here. I just wish the scents were more bath-like, bubble bath scents, clean scents, refreshing, or, you know, aromatherapy, lavender type scents, and not like spicy fruitcake, I don't know, scents. But that's a me problem. That was what kind of pushed this more towards, a little more towards the negative end of my advent calendar ranking, just because for the price, I won't be enjoying it as much, just because, you know, I'm not a fan of some of the scents in here. This is the Nespresso advent calendar. And I love coffee, I love Nespresso, I love my Nespresso Virtuo machine. This I wish were a little more varied. This just had, you know, obviously all the different Nespresso pods. And then the final day was a mug. It was a white mug that was part of their Lume like porcelain mug collection. What I hated about the mug was you can't even microwave it. And for me, it takes me a while to finish my second cup of coffee of the day. So that's like a deal breaker for me. I just know that I probably will not use that mug, because if I can't microwave it, I mean, what good is it to me? So yeah, unfortunately, if this had the clear mug, like the glass one that they had last year, then this would have been leaning more towards a higher ranking. But yeah, the fact that you can't microwave the mug, and also that it just had the pods. I wish it had biscuits and cookies and other treats that Nespresso often offers, or even like the little syrup. Sometimes they do that. That would have been great. But other than that, I mean, I do use it. I did bring all the Nespresso pods with me when we brought this with us on a trip, and you know, we use it up. It's fine. Pretty good value if you like Nespresso, but I just wish it had a little more variety. This is the e.l.f. So Much Fun 24-day advent calendar, and I really like this one. So I am a huge fan of e.l.f. It stands for Eyes, Lips, Face. It is a very affordable drugstore makeup brand. I just think that this had such a great variety of products in here. It had an eyelash curler that I use. It had a makeup sponge that I use. A lot of the go-tos I really like. The lip scrub is great. I was pleasantly surprised by the glitter eyeshadow. Yeah, I really like this. I think the value of this was $112, and then it retails for 90 something. I think that a lot of people think that actually was a little pricey for the brand, because a lot of their items are a lower price point. But keep in mind, there are some bigger items. Like this had a full eyeshadow palette right here. And then it also had some of their skincare, which I really like, which I have been using and I think are great for travel, and a great way to introduce yourself to their skincare if you're not familiar, which I was not familiar with them. This would make a great gift for someone who's kind of getting into makeup and wants to check out a more affordable drugstore brand. The Velusta 12-day advent calendar. This was a great value if you love candles, which I love candles. I also was able to get this during the Sephora sale, so it was an additional 20% off. I forget what the price was, but I think that brought it down a notch to making it a great value. I had a few things from Velusta, but this is a great way to be a little more familiar with all the different scents and candles that they have to offer. And it also was a great setup because these individual doors, when you open them, it tells you the scent and then all the fragrance notes. So a great way to familiarize yourself with the brand. And this also makes a great gift if you know someone who just loves candles. Next up is the YSL Advent Calendar. Now, as far as the design, this is probably one of my favorite designs. I love the setup, I love the layout, I love the colors. I love that this is refillable and it's a great quality. You know, the drawers are great quality. These can be refilled for years to come. The biggest drawback to the YSL Advent Calendar, I would say, is this is very, very lip heavy, and specifically red lip heavy. So if you don't wear lipsticks in general, you might not like this. And if you definitely don't wear red lipstick, you won't like this. I will actually be gifting a lot of the lipstick to my mom. I still think it's a great value, and it's still a great way to try out what YSL has to offer. It has a great variety of things, not just lipsticks. It did have a lot of their perfumes, including their Vestiaire, which are their more expensive perfumes. This one I always look forward to, and this is a really popular one. I just love the design. Okay, I think I'm at number 6. Number 6 is the Loccitane Premium Signature Advent Calendar. I forget, there were 3 different versions. I have been working my way through this. I love everything that was included in here. I'm a huge fan of the Loccitane hand creams. I have them everywhere, in my car, in my purse, in all of the drawers in my home. And the Advent Calendar also included hair masks and shower gels. It had their almond shower oil. I just love everything. This is something that I would pick up every year because I go through the hand creams and they make great gifts. The mini sizes are great for travel. I like everything about this. Sugarfina Santa's Workshop. This is probably the cutest advent calendar. My kids look forward to going through this. Every night we have our advent calendar candy ritual. They take turns, you know, picking out the day, getting the candy. They share one piece of candy each and they just absolutely love it. And then they look at the back and find out which candy it was. It's so cute. I wish it were a little bigger so that I could refill these with, you know, more candy for them. But this is something that I definitely will be holding on to and refilling for years to come. I kind of wish I picked up 2 of these or even maybe 3 so that each of my boys could have one, but they're doing really good with sharing. So yeah, so it's a great way to teach your kids to share. And it's a really fun tradition that they have in December now. Next were the David's Tea 24 Days of Tea Advent Calendars. I got both of them this year because they had a great Black Friday sale. I started off with the caffeine-free version, and then during the Black Friday sale, I picked up the regular version. I am a tea drinker now, officially. I was not really a tea drinker before, but the David's Tea 24 Days of Tea Advent Calendars have really changed me for the better. I love the design of the caffeine full version, and I do drink both of them, and I've been working my way through them. I've ordered a couple orders since then. You know, I found some of my favorites. I just really, really like their teas now. I'm a huge tea fan. I have the infuser, I have the steeper, I have the teapot, I have the kettle. It's one of my favorite parts of my nightly ritual now. I love it. It's great. If you don't drink tea, check this out. There's just a huge world out there that I just did not know about because I just was such a staunch coffee drinker. And I just was like, okay, green tea, like that's all I knew. But there were just so many different varieties and just really cool. Lots of different options out there. So I am glad that this kind of opened up this whole world of tea to me. Okay, number 3 on the list is the Diptique Advent Calendar. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the design this year. I really like the animals design that they had last year, but I just think in terms of value, this has all the Diptique candles, all the scents, all the fragrances. It has their limited edition scents, which just smells so good, very Christmassy and very holiday themed. But then it also has, you know, fragrances. It has solid perfumes. It had body cream, hand lotion. It just had a ton of stuff. Also, it has ornaments. So I think that they're trying to move away from, you know, I don't know, religious, you know, Christmas themed. So they didn't have a Christmas-ish holiday design, but they did have ornaments and it just, you know, really cool. I have them up on my tree now. Again, not a fan of the design, but for the value, I think it's pretty good what you get. I forget what the price is, but if you break it down, it's a pretty good deal. Number 2 is the Dior Advent Calendar. This is such a pretty design this year. I love the blue and the gold. I have gotten this every year for the past few years, and I really appreciate this design. Now, other than the price, which this is the second most expensive advent calendar on my list this year, this retailed for $5.50. Other than the price, what was a little disappointing or surprising or just, I don't know, short-sighted is the fact that this contains foundations. It had 2 foundations. I just didn't know what they were thinking. They could have done a primer. They could have thrown another perfume in here. But to include a foundation is just, again, very short-sighted. It doesn't make any sense. How are you gonna appeal to everyone? Now, some people suggested that, okay, they have a foundation just if you wanna check out the formula, but then what they should have done was include a certificate to redeem for a full-size foundation, you know, of your shade. Because obviously the foundation shade was like, it was shade 2, which is way too light for me. I'm pretty tan. And obviously anyone darker, I mean, it's not gonna work for them. But other than that, it had a great variety. It had different lipsticks, not just red lipsticks. It had nude. It had all the different perfumes. It had some of their Maison perfumes. And I just love the design. And I like that there is a mini version of this. I did an entire video showing this and then the smaller Montaigne, which is like a quarter of the size. And then it has 4 deluxe minis. But I just love this. So pretty. It's just gorgeous. This just is such a gorgeous display throughout the entire year. And my number 1 advent calendar this year is the Rituals Advent Calendar. This was a surprise underdog winner for me. I just went into this not expecting it to be number 1, but it was so much fun setting up. It was so much fun putting it together and just kind of having it out on display. Here it is. It is so cool. It's so pretty. I will put this out as my Christmas decor every year. This is a great activity if you have kids who are, you know, engineering minded. Like my oldest son, he is definitely gonna be an engineer. He loves Legos, he loves putting things together, he loves electronics and engineering stuff. He would love putting this together. It does take a little bit of effort, but it's totally worth it. Definitely recommend picking this up. And it's so affordable. I think this is 100 something. I've seen it for sale as low as like 80 something. The actual contents are really nice. I loved all the candles. I love that this is actually Advent themed. It follows the schedule of Advent. So every Sunday is a different candle that you would light up, as if that's part of your tradition. It has such a variety of all the rituals. You know, I'm not familiar with the rituals. I believe it's from the Netherlands, but it was a great way to try out all the different fragrances. They have some that are specifically for, you know, men, I guess more masculine scents. And I just love everything. I have a new favorite. My favorite is the Ritual of Jing, which is lavender and sandalwood. And it's just such a nice, relaxing scent. They have a pillow mist here, which I mist it on my pillow every night. And it's just part of my required nightly ritual for sleeping. I'm obsessed. I love it. So yeah, the Ritual of Advent calendar. I love that everyone who has picked this up at, you know, from my recommendation, they're sending me pictures of their setup in their living room. And it just is so pretty. I love this. I think I would get this every year and set it up with my kids. It's just such a fun tradition. And it's so pretty. Such a pretty design. Of all the Advent calendars that I unboxed this year, this is number one. All right, guys. Well, I really appreciate you coming on this Advent calendar journey with me. This was a long Advent calendar season. I really enjoyed unboxing all these with you and finding some new favorites. I hope you find my recommendations helpful, including the ones that you maybe steered clear from. But let me know, what were your favorite Advent calendars this year? I have a lot of Advent calendars now, and there's some I have not tried, like Joe Malone I haven't tried. There were some really expensive ones. Also, I think Guerlain made one. We'll see. We'll see what next year has in store. But our Advent calendar journey has come to an end this year. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for all your feedback and your comments. I hope you enjoyed this ranking of all the Advent calendars that I unboxed this year, and I hope to catch you in my next video. Bye.